Alright, Shocker Nation, welcome back for another edition of the Fink and Friends show here from Waterville High School. And today we are in the leadership classroom. It's Mr. Lopez's classroom. And we are investigating a project that the leadership class is working on. It's a tetrahedron kite project, which is pretty cool. Now we've got Ashley Parker here, Carly Meredith. They're working on building the tetrahedrons. We've got a couple Evelyns here that are working on the tetrahedrons as well. They do not want to be on camera though. They need to keep their spirits about them, as Mr. Lopez said. But overall, I'm going to start to create my own tetrahedron, while Mr. Lopez is going to come in and give you a little more information on exactly what this project is. And we're excited about it. It's going to culminate in something very exciting that I'm sure that we can film for you on the Fink and Friends show in the future. So Mr. Lopez, come on in here.
All right. Join
me here for a second. Talk to Tyler here. I'm gonna work on one.
Okay.
So you kind of take it away and you tell the audience what's going on here.
Okay, I'll explain what this is.
Yes.
So, it's a tetrahedron kite, which means, and actually, I don't have a kite available. Let me get a sample to show you. So, okay, so the straws and the string are the actual skeleton of one individual cell. So a tetrahedron is this shape. So once we get the cell completed, Ashley is gluing on the tissue paper, which is really just tissue, very fragile. The string also, the straws, very flimsy. I mean, they will actually bend. Once they bend, they're not very good. We have to redo it. But the goal is to create this shape of a tetrahedron. And then this by itself is a kite. If we tie a string to this part right here and go outside and pull it, it will actually fly as a kite. You don't need a tail. The design of this is so unique that the pulling of the string actually just creates a thrust, and so the air will actually push up against the surface and will cause it to soar because it's so light. And so the goal is to create a larger tetrahedron. So we'll take 3 more and tie it this way, and then we'll take another one and put it right here, and this becomes the next size of a tetrahedron. So the goal is to make this cell, this large, and then when I turn it around, actually, can you just kind of focus on that one up there? That is the shape that it will become. So this one with the blue, white, and then red and white, that particular cell, that's the next size of the tetra, and it will fly just like, so that represents one of these individual small tetrahedron cells. So our big goal is to then makes the next size up of the tetrahedron. We'll tie one of those becomes the base, and then we'll get 2 for the next level, 3 for the next level, and then the top layer will be 4, and that will create a larger cell. And then our goal is to get, we counted it up, there's 64 cells by the time we're done. And so by the time it's all finished, we're gonna have a kite that's probably 6 feet tall and maybe about 10 feet wide. And the shape will still be in this basic tetrahedron. And then one person will pull the string and it will fly. It will fly. And so, you know, this project itself is really to build a kite, but it's more than that. It's actually a metaphor. And it's a metaphor for, well, for a lot of the habits. We talk about this in class, and 7 habits was really a big part of this discussion. And so the metaphor is, well, number 6 is synergy. It's a synergy. Every student's responsible for making their cell. So their cell has to be done right. So it just represents that they are responsible for doing their part, that's their role, and then together as a group, they put it together, and the synergy part is that each student is responsible, it's like a link in a chain. Each student is responsible for creating their cell, and then when it's done right, and we do it all together, this project will fly. And so the real discussion becomes, what does the metaphor really mean? So, Tyler, I'm gonna go with my chalkboard. Okay. And so really, it's about this. It's an activity. It's an activity, and here's the product. Individual, independent kind of idea, or it could be a group effort. It doesn't really matter, but the grid is the same. the good is the same. And really the habits really fit in here. It becomes habit, so it becomes end in mind. It becomes first things first. It becomes thinking win-win. It becomes every single one of these habits. And so the real metaphor is people working together to create a project. The idea, whatever the idea happens to be, or an individual working on their own independent plans, and then persevering throughout, staying within this area right here to get to the final product. So this area really, the activity is what you do with your energy in your planning, in your goal setting, which becomes in itself a very worthy goal in itself. This is it. This is the part that is all the energy is happening. So really, in essence, this is so valuable. The product kind of becomes not a byproduct, but it becomes just as important as the activity is just as important as the product is, and that's really it. So the metaphor just applies to anything that we really do in life when we have the energy and the capacity to finish it.
Mr. Lopez, I am building my tetrahedron right here.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay, and so, the kite itself, we were talking about this in class, other kids will make a comment about, there's more to the metaphor. And so these discussions kind of just keep building. So I had one student actually said, well, the kite is so fragile. It's so fragile. It's just tissue and string. I mean, it will rip, and it will. And so one of the discussions that came up was from one of the students that, so are our plans. Our plans can be fragile also. The circumstances in our lives can be just as fragile as this kite. But there is still a lot of strength in sticking to your plans, in being proactive, in really being aware of what you want to do with your plans, and then do it.
I'm excited, Mr. Lopez.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So what we plan to do is, because we can't really build too many of these, we have to hang them from the ceiling to just keep them out of the way. We really can't even put them together until they're all done, because we can't get out the door. We won't be able to get out the door. So on March 27th, if the weather is good, we have to have dry, and we have to have, not too much wind, and then we're going to take it outside, and I'm sure we're going to have an audience. We're going to tie it all together. It's going to take a while, and then we're going to launch it.
Wow, that's going to be the elementary kids especially.
It should be interesting.
They're going to like that. It's going to be great.
Okay.
Well, thanks, Mr. Lopez, for this project, and thanks for the 7 habits metaphor and the life metaphor, the leader in me metaphor. Awesome. That's great.
Okay.
All right, Shocker Nation. Look for the tetrahedron kite project on the Leadership Day, March 27th. Everybody's invited. The community. We'd like you guys to come out to that. We'll have more information on the Fink and Friends show about the Leadership Day, but everybody's invited. So you're gonna have quite the audience.
Great.
Yeah, that'll be great.
All right.
For Mr. Lopez, I'm Mr. Fink Bunner, and Carly and Ashley, Evelyn Squared. Thanks. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Okay.